Let the heavens and the earth ring and sing, sing, sing. While sitting and listening to the different testimonies and the different vows that are being made, I thought how marvelous it is to be convicted, converted, and convinced by the spirit of my actual presence through this great conversion, that whatsoever you may be inspired to do, it is an inspiration for you. I also thought how marvelous it is to take a stand. And one writer said, after you have done all to stand, stand. Aren't you glad? It's also recorded, stand in the liberty wherewith Christ has set you free, and be not again entangled with the yoke of bondage. These burdens and bondages wherewith you have been handicapped or retarded in your advances are the mortal version of man. The human fancies, pleasures, and the tendencies of man. When you are prompted to see, say, or think, or act in the least manner of expression through concealment, or the expression of the beguilation of Eve, which is an expression whereby you might try to deceive. In the least manner of expression, you should take cognizance and be cautious not to allow deception to act upon the impulse of the moment, but in all of your ways acknowledge me. One writer said, in all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. I have often said, if you are walking the street, and if you see a person, and if you desire to attract his attention, or her attention, whichever, makes no difference. If you use an expression of deception, concealment, as an expression of the dilation in the attracting of the individual's attention by clearing your throat, by coughing. I mean, when you do not need to do it and it's not necessary, you don't have no cough there. That is an expression of deception, the beguiling of Eve, whereby you try to deceive. Though you may be trying to do it for a good purpose, to attract someone's attention for something good, for a good purpose. But you are trying to make that person think you are actually clearing your throat because you have a little cold. First thing you know, you may have a little cold. You may cough and do not need a to cough. You may not have the least cold, nor the reflection thereof. But you may try to reflect that to attract the attention of the person in question. An expression of beguilation handed down from Eve, when the serpent beguiled her and made her one that would try to deceive. So then I say it's a wonderful thought to be able to cleanse yourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, if you please, and perfect holiness in the fear of God. Again, I wish to say to those of my true followers, you who desire to have my attention, my love and my devotion to you, and desire to get the attention of others, be the same at my personal absence as in my personal presence. I try to be the same in yours. If being the same is not detrimental or will not hurt nor harm, I want to be the same from every angle expressible. The same as at times I serve the rosebud or have a rosebud table served at a certain time. Someone through self-education and selfishness and through envy and strife may think, well, the lilybud should have a special table. Why should they have a special table? They are not officially set apart to carry on in a special part of the work. From the beginning, the rosebud, by inspiration and by true conversion, by living modest, moral, and even absolutely virtuous, and And by devoting the mind and the attention in one direction to God, they were inspired as a whole. I mean the majority of them. And they became calm and did not act aggressively. And whensoever any of the tables were served, as a rule, they did not rush to get seats. They sat back. And when they were invited to be served after serving us the major part of the day as the choir or as the chorus or orchestra, why then at times we would say, as the rosebuds have not dined, and the others have had a chance to dine and have dined, and pushed in and did get seats, and the like, and the rosebuds stood back. But they served us as they're sitting now, as a whole. I mean the real true rosebud. And when the time came, at times, that other tables had been served, the same as this one is served now, I might say the rosebuds may fill in and serve and be served at this table, maybe once or twice a day. But all others are welcome to sit and be seated at any of the tables, as aforesaid, if they do not take reserved seats. But if you think or act differently as to what I would say or suggest or think, why then you know you are not with me. You may wonder why you do not attract our attention as you may desire to do. Because if you have something in you controversial to me, conflicting and rebellious, or self-exalted, or envious to others, even if you are moved to do something in the way of speaking or saying through envy or strife, and not motivated by the spirit of meekness and lowliness in heart, you might cause your presence to become to be repulsive. If you, as the members of our church, think you can authorize or institute some system in opposition to my version, or in keeping with it, without my personal endorsement and consent, you may know I'm withdrawing from it. And you may wonder why we cannot feel the Holy Spirit like we once did. The Holy Spirit invisible, or me personally, or my staff in your presence sympathetically and cooperatively and harmoniously. All of it means the Holy Spirit. Why I can't feel the Holy Spirit like I used to feel it. when you digress or deviate or rebel against that which you know would be, according to my mind and spirit, or try to institute something in our movement of yourself controversially or antagonistically or conflictingly in any way. You may know why things do not work so well with you. Now, if there is a question as to whether this is true or not, just try to do it, and you see that the invisible spirit of success and prosperity, of health and happiness, of peace and pleasure will not be with you effectively. And as with my spirit, so with me and with mine personally. At times there are some who will try to institute something when I'm personally absent that they would not do and do not do when I'm personally present. Now, whatsoever may be the situation or consideration in your imagination, it should be carried through the spirit of analyzation and equalization and see if it is the expression of your Savior. I need not say more from that point of view. But this I decide to say among you here, so that those of you who desire to exalt yourselves and desire to be competitors to others selfishly, you might know why things do not work so well. And especially when you try to do those things through concealment. At my personal absence, and not when I'm personally present. It goes to show you definitely in your own manner of expression that you think I am personally absent and not present. But if you would live this life as I have set it, and even my one eternal, inspirational motto text for your consideration, it in itself would teach you a lesson how to gain the victory over every opposition. For I did say in this one eternal, inspirational, compositional motto text, the spirit of the consciousness of the presence of God is the source of all supply, and it will satisfy every good desire. Not only it will, but it will and it does presently and shall throughout eternity satisfy every good desire. Now, if you can be conscious of my presence, you would not deviate or make a digression in the actuated words of expression at my personal absence, not any more than you would in my personal presence. Take these thoughts into consideration. For truly did Mother say just a little while ago, as a reiteration of what Jesus said in the sonship degree, meek and lowly is the way, or words to that effect. To be meek and lowly is the only true situation and the only hope of your redemption. And if you get any exaltation, you are exalted or promoted other than through the meekness and lowliness of heart and of mind, that exaltation or promotion may not stand. I would just like to say at this instant, every one of you, not only here but the universe over, as believers, followers, and adherents to my teaching, can live the abundant life of peace and happiness and pleasure and express superlativeness from every angle expressible, for you have declared, I am superb. And as we take these compositions, as aforesaid this morning, even this most recent composition as a song and yet a holiday greeting, if you take these thoughts in and realize God is present, the very words that are spoken there verbatim will tell you how you will have the victory and win over every opposition. The very words in that little composition. Just think of it. One eternal Christmas. In other words, one eternal Christmas and one eternal New Year's Day. Speaking it dynamically and dramatically, we are endeavoring to implant it and impregnate it in the souls of the children of men to observe this one eternal Christmas. In other words, this one eternal Christmas, as you may term it to be, and one eternal New Year's Day. When it is dramatically, dynamically, and indelibly tapped in your conscious mentality and imprinted on the soil of the soul of your heart to say, you will be able to say, truly this is one eternal New Year's Day. I cannot stress it too vividly, too constantly, and too sincerely. For truly that conviction in itself is the mystery. The same that I gave Simon when he said, I say that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. I did say there and then in the sonship degree, upon this rock I shall build my church. But something most specifically and directly as an expression, as as for a personal pronoun. Simon, I give you the keys of the kingdom. And that which thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. That which thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. That conviction was a mystery. And this is the way to you I am giving it by this composition. By stressing it in your memory constantly and continually, dynamically and dramatically, scientifically and accurately, in the words as they are written verbatim. As an infant learning his alphabet, he continues to reiterate. If you continue to reiterate and reiterate, after a while, any common, ordinary mind will take that which it is reiterating. It will produce it in the memory and be established in them once and forever. You cannot forget your alphabet. Even if you go in a trance, or even if you are knocked unconscious, or even if you die physically and is raised again, as many have been. When you come back to consciousness again, you can say A, B, C. You can say 1, 2, 3. Because it has become to be a part of your subconsciousness. Therefore, your mind is no longer a supposition, an intangible expression as something that is mystical. But your mind has become to be personal. It's personified. You are your mind personified. You express it in the words you speak. And therefore, you can say, as Jesus said in the sonship degree, handle me and feel me and see that a spirit has not flesh and bone. I'm letting you know I'm real. I'm real in all of the attributes of my intellect, of all creation. I'm real in all of the expressions thereof. For I am personifiable, and I have been personified. So that all mankind might realize that which was merely surmised. Imagine has been realized and materialized because you are the materializer of the thing that you realize. Now let us live in this recognition. As we take these thoughts to consideration and reiterate them by rehearsing them and singing them constantly, and the music thereof, sing them in your classroom, sing them in your church services, sing them in your banquet halls and elsewhere. Sing them until you get this substantiated in your consciousness. and have been made a living reality, then you will no longer just be an imagination, and you will no longer just imagine something. You see the message? That's why I say at this present New Year's Day, as it may be termed, and our Christmas holidays or holidays of the season or season holidays, we have brought this little composition out as a message. And I have stressed it so that you might get it and believe it and have the Spirit awaken in your heart sincerely, as it was in the heart of Simon. I say that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Then you have the keys of the kingdom. Have the keys that will unlock every combination. Will unlock every barred and shut door. All adverse and undesirable conditions. Because it's the key to God's own omniscience. The key to the Creator of all creation. Therefore, it can unlock every combination because the Spirit itself created it. And then, therefore, all things are open to Him. And a good many of you may wonder, especially those of the critics and unbelievers, why and how is it that Father Divine has so much influence over His flock? And why they are so crazy about it? As they speak in the slang of the street. They would only stop and consider. It is written scripturally of me, in the day of my power, my people shall be willing. I do not have to ask them to be willing. That is a prediction. And that prediction you are fulfilling. Aren't you blessed? My people are willing from shore to shore and from land to land. They are willing at my left as well as at my right hand. Because it was a prediction. And we are the fulfillers of that prediction. As you are willing, each of you, according to your willingness, receive the blessing. And cause you not to look for another. I hear you say, well, is there any other blesser? There is no other one. You think like that, you feel like that, and you see it like that. And as you see it, I'm thinking, so it is. Oh, Jesus did say, in the sonship degree, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You have thought something in your heart, and so are you in the thoughts of God. I need not say more at this instant, but to stress it in your memory, I have called your personal attention to this one eternal Christ Mass and one eternal New Year's Day. I do not have to say Merry Christmas. And in the future, you will not have to say it necessarily. I mean, it will not be necessary for you to say it in the future. And it will not be necessary for you to say Happy New Year. For you will be the personification of both it and them. And your very expression of words and actions will be expressing Merry Christmas and a New Year that is of happiness. Aren't you glad? And as you read these thoughts and stress them in your memory and get them verbatim in consciousness, as explained before, you will be a partaker of that which you have read and said, of that which you have heard, and of that which you have seen. For the word is no longer just a sound. It's no longer just ink in the form of printing and in the form of notes, but the word is made flesh, and that word is you. For you have inculcated it and imbibed it, just as you have been impregnated with it. And all will eventually live in such a recognition, and you will take cognizance of this new day. Not only the first page, but from the first to the 64th page, inclusive. And we will realize that all of these words of wisdom, of knowledge and understanding, they are the keys to the kingdom, the keys to success and prosperity. And you will learn to know he that loveth gift shall die, but he that hates gift shall live. I thank you.